students and members of the community. Thank you for being here today. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for your patience. Let's go ahead and launch into it. I'm Gabriel Chabran, the Priority Projects Manager with EXP, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's presentation as part of the virtual guest speaker series co-hosted with the ProvenReady program. Before I introduce today's speaker, I want to briefly tell you about our respective organizations. EXP is a local Southern California nonprofit known as the Opportunity Engine. Why is that? Through programs like this one, EXP prepares great students like you for a better life. Our programs help gain experience, unlock doors, and build confidence you need to succeed in school, career, and life. ProvenReady helps build tomorrow's workforce today by giving high school students the opportunity to learn more about college and career opportunities in the areas of business, entrepreneurship, global trade, advanced transportation, and logistics, and the opportunity to learn or earn industry certified credentials in those sectors. Check us out at our websites, expfuture.org and provenready.org, as well as follow us on social media. Now let's get started by giving a warm welcome to today's speaker, Lonzo Williams. Lonzo Williams is the undisputed godfather of West Coast hip hop with an entertainment career spanning over 40 years. As a DJ, record producer, and leader of the World Class Wreckin Cru, Lonzo is also credited with launching the careers of some of the most notable names in hip hop. His roster or proteges include N.W.A, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, DJ Yella, and Eazy-E, Michelle, DJ Battlecat, Rodney O, Joe Cooley, the LA Dream Team, and Compton's Most Wanted, to name a few. A native of Compton, California, of course, the epicenter of West Coast hip hop, Lonzo has always kept his hands on the pulse of urban entertainment. His first hit in the South LA party scene in the early 1970s, working as a mobile DJ and promoter under the name Disco Construction. He went on to open Eve After Dark nightclub in 1979. The venue further cemented Lonzo's career as a driving force in the nightlife arena, with high-profile musicians, celebrities, and local DJs wanting to connect with his world-class wrecking crew. Over the next 10 years, Lonzo added Skateland USA, the Penthouse, the Doo-Toos, the Current Affair, and the Club Hall of Fame to his extensive portfolio of entertainment venues. In 2017, he reopened Eve After Dark to host signature club nights, community events, and talent showcases. In 2015, Lonzo himself released his memoir, Not Without Alonzo, The Roots of West Coast Hip Hop. The book was a prequel to the feature film Straight Outta Compton and is the untold story that helped pave the way for N.W.A to reach mainstream success. Without further ado, please welcome Lonzo Williams.
Hello, folks. Hello. I'm muted. I'm good.
You're good. You're good, sir. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful sunshiny day. I'm in my studio doing what I love doing.
Wonderful. So let's go ahead and get started. We have some questions, and I'd also like to let folks know, if you have questions for Lonzo throughout any time during the presentation, please drop them in the chat, and we will make sure that we get to those throughout the day. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. But if you have questions for Lonzo, please put them in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get to those. But Lonzo, if you could kind of give us an overview of your educational and professional journey in terms of how you got to where you are today.
Education-wise, went to school in Compton, left Compton Unified School District in the 11th grade, went to Gardena High School, where right before graduation, I was presented with a pamphlet of various opportunities from the Regional Occupational Program, ROP, and one of the things was DJ, broadcasting. And growing up in Compton, I'd always see the radio DJs playing at the park for doing what they call sock hops. They did them every Friday and Saturday. And I was under the impression, in order to be a park DJ, I had to get a job working for a radio station. So I checked off broadcasting, and I was one of the only students that got a scholarship in broadcasting to go to the Don Tracy School of Broadcasting in Los Angeles, where I achieved my third-class broadcast license. Never really wanted to be in radio per se. I was always trying to use radio as a means to get back to the parks. At that time, that was the hottest thing you could do, was be a park DJ. And again, all the park DJs were from the radio station. So I thought if I associated myself with a radio station, I could end up in the park. And never happened. It's the middle of the 70s. After I graduated from broadcast school, I went to El Camino College in Torrance. I studied acting, business, and lighting and set design. And those classes right there helped me tremendously. I didn't graduate from El Camino College. I went for a few semesters. My mother was sick. She died. She was diagnosed with cancer during my stay at El Camino College. So I was designated to take her back and forth to a chemotherapy. So I didn't get a chance to finish. But by the time she passed, I was already in my DJ career. And shortly after that, I became a club owner. And the rest goes from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. Can you give us some examples of what it means to be a person of color, making it in the business and entertainment industries, and maybe some projects that you've completed that you're especially proud of?
Well, you know, being a person of color, especially in this field of music, it's like you're expected to do well, but not expected to be a part of the business. You're expected to be a part of the entertainment, but not to be a part of the business. And usually that is, well, the money's made in the business part. It's called music business for a reason. Okay, entertainment business for a reason. They want you to be part of entertainment, not a part of the business. And because I was a young businessman, young DJ, young club owner, I understood business at a very young age. And so when I transitioned into the music industry, I took some of the same knowledge with me, of course, and it made me excel on one end, but it kind of made me a bit of a threat on another, because some of the things that some of my mentees were dealing with, if I had stayed in the picture, I would have told them different. And that was a perfect example with the relationship between Jerry Heller and Eazy. Although I introduced Jerry Heller to Eazy-E, some of the things that Eazy allowed to happen, I would have known better early on. And I was kind of once the introduction was made, I was kind of ostracized, and you know, things went differently. Let's put it that way. So go ahead. And I think also a lot of my education came from my mentors in the industry. Yeah. Good. Great. I mean, my dad was there. My first club owner was not just a club owner. He wasn't just a landlord. He was a mentor. He taught me the club business. When I later went to move to Dudos, he was also another mentor. So everywhere I went, as a guy with some aspiration of being in any part of the music industry, there was another man prepared to give me some education on it. You know, and they took pride in doing that, and they made me learn it. And because of my home training, I felt obligated to learn it. It's a little bit different these days. I never talked back. I never was cocky. I couldn't afford to be cocky. They taught me humbleness before they taught me anything else. And that's probably what was been probably one of the biggest assets, I think, in my career. Yeah. Reminds me of Kendrick Lamar's "Be Humble," one of my favorite songs by him. Yeah. Great. And so, can you tell us? I mean, your career is you know, you've had so many successes. Can you tell us some projects that you're especially proud of? I think one of the things I'm most proud of is my book, N.W.A, Not Without Alonzo. I have never in my life thought I'd ever be an author. Never. There was no indication whatsoever in my life, although I like to write. I write songs, I've written poetry, I've done a lot of different writings, but to write a book, I never thought I'd do anything like that, because I didn't think I had the patience for it. And when I completed the book, it was a major achievement for me personally. Just recently, I just finished the audiobook. I did the audiobook before. I had to redo it from scratch all over again.
Oh, wow.
We had some technical issues, and we just got it approved on Audible. So the audiobook now, and again, that was something I did on my own. I did with my engineer, and I'm proud of it as well. I'm getting a lot of feedback from it as well. And that anytime you complete a project, whether it be a song, a book, it's a sense of pride and completion that comes with that. That if you are a creator, that you can get that. Most people, and that's something, being a creator. And sometimes I tell my friends, not only am I a creator when it comes to books and music, but I like working with my hands. Okay, I was taught at an early age how to work with my hands. I do things around my house, and sometimes I'll just grab my tools and go fix something or build something just to get that sense of completion. And it's another kind of, for lack of a better word, it's another high.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get that. I get that. Definitely. What does your day-to-day look like? Tell us something. What is it that you love about your work on the regular?
Well, you know what I love about my work most of all, because I get bored real easy, is no 2 days are ever alike. No 2 days are ever alike. Never. Yesterday, I was in the studio all day long with technicians, learning some new equipment. This morning, I've been to the dentist. This is my third Zoom call, and I got another one after this right here at 3 o'clock. I teach a class at 3 o'clock. And I have a podcast I do at 5. So my days are never the same. I have some routines that I do for myself personally. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I go to the gym, work out for about an hour or so. After that, who knows? And sometimes when these phones ring, the day can change completely. So, that's the beauty of my day. I don't have 2 days exactly alike.
That's great. No, I'm glad to hear that. What are some important skills that you use in your daily roles that require that you wished you would have known before? Because obviously you talked about starting these clubs and helping sort of launch these music careers. What is it? What are some skills that you consider important, and maybe that you wished you would have known back then, that maybe some of these students you think would be able to gain something from in that respect?
For me, staying in contact with people, I think would probably nurturing relationships more. And that, I find, in the music industry is very, very, in the entertainment industry overall, is very important, because you never know where the person next to you is going to be sitting at. If somebody had told me that the skinny kid that used to hang out with me would be a billionaire, I told him, you're lying. Not going to happen. This skinny, irresponsible kid with 4 kids at 17 years old, no way he'll ever be a billionaire. And here he is, a billionaire. Not saying we're not on a good situation. It's just that, those relationships are, they're important. They're important to have. So as long as you can maintain them, you can make the connection, keep the connections. Relationships are very important. And keeping in contact with people over the years. What I mean by that is, I didn't realize how important the email lists were. I had no idea. In the digital age, email lists are very important. So I've had 6 clubs, and I didn't start collecting emails till halfway through the last 2. So all the people I've done events for over the years, most of them I can't find again. I can find them through Facebook or Instagram or something like that. But if I had all those email addresses, if they were still intact, I'd have a very, very powerful database. Oh, I'm sorry. My database would be more powerful than what it is right now.
Okay.
That's the difference.
So what I'm hearing is you're putting importance on the importance of networking, obviously,
right,
and to maintain that network,
right,
as far as that goes. So even those people from the past, it's important to kind of keep in contact with them.
Keep in contact with. Send them an email from time to time. Hit them on Instagram, whatever. Back then, we didn't have those same connections, so you lost contact with people a lot. And thank God that we do have the digital platforms we have right now. So I've been able to reach out to people I haven't talked to in 35, 40 years.
Okay. And just so I think everybody knows in the audience who you were talking about, but that skinny, irresponsible kid who is now a billionaire is one Dr. Dre, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Tell me more about when you first kind of were introduced to those guys during that time. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it you wrote about in your book and you talk about on your podcast and what have you. But I'm sure there's lots of students who are out here in the audience today wanting to know kind of about those early times.
Well, it was really crazy, man, because it's not common knowledge. Maybe it is if you read my book, but Dre and I grew up on the same street. Literally, he literally lived down the street from me. What his dad did, and I was seen from time to time as a toddler, as a kid with his mom and dad. His his dad and my older sister were all friends, and my cousin, they were all friends. So when he came to me at 16 years old or 17 years old, wanting to get into the Eve After Dark, I didn't really recognize him because we didn't play together, but I knew who his people were. Right. And he let it be known, hey man, you know my uncle and my auntie, and I'm like, who do I know? Theodore and Deborah and Floyd. Oh, okay, no problem, man. Come on in. Right. And again, like most kids of the parents that I grew up with, I just let him in because I know your mom. I know your mom. I know your dad. Come on in, okay? But you got to be dressed correct. And he complied to the dress code. Easy didn't. And shortly after that, Dre came back with Easy again. Dre had on his proper attire. Easy didn't. And I refused him entry. Dre went upstairs and later got on the turntables. And I've told this story 1,000 times. I'll tell it again. I have no idea how he ended up on my stage, on my turntables, because that was a domain that I thought I controlled. And somebody slid him up there, but it was a good call, and it changed everything.
Great. Yeah, history was made officially at that point. Yeah. We've got a couple of questions from the audience that I want to go ahead and make sure we get to because it's important to make sure that these students connect with you today. Alana Rivas wants to know, how many musicians do you know that have or have suffered from some form of mental illness? Did they too become successful?
I can't say they're all mentally ill, but when you're a musician, or it seems like most artists that I know, there's a certain part of the brain that works better than the other. Okay, I work with artists that are graphic designers. I work with musicians, and they get the creative part so well, and it's astonishing how well they can draw and sing and perform. But when it comes to the nuts and bolts of the business, they go blank. Very few of them get both sides of the fence. I think Prince may have been one of the few people that I've ever known in modern day times that actually understood both sides of the fence. And it took him a good lesson from Warner Brothers to understand the game. Yeah. And so many artists are more enthused or interested in being in the spotlight than they are in the boardroom. And like I said before, this is the entertainment business. And because your eyes are blinded by the light of success and fame, sometimes you'll sign the first thing people put in front of you, And then you look up and you're stuck in a contract that everybody's making money off of except for you. Okay. So I can't say that they're mentally ill. I think it's just that because sometimes their brains are just wired differently, that they focus on different things that, you know, the average person may not find, you know, it may not focus on.
Yeah, yeah, and in the context of Prince's case, who another one of my favorite artists, he had to suffer. You know, he had to learn that lesson to get to that point. You know,
exactly.
And I imagine that that's true of a lot of the other individuals that you've dealt with too in the past.
Well, a lot of the individuals I've dealt with in the past, a lot of them got mad because they felt they were being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have never met an artist that was happy with their record label.
Okay.
If you understand the music business, how it was founded, who founded it, what it's based on, it's not possible to be happy with it, because when you start doing the numbers, you'll see that you'll walk into a situation 100% owner of your creativity, sign a deal, and end up owning only 10% of your creativity, owing money and in debt. I mean, and in debt. Okay, so it's really the way the business is structured. It's not to the advantage of the artist whatsoever. And that's the part you have to have somebody who understands the business, that's looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Okay, so that goes into a next question that we have from one of our audience members. Salma Munoz wants to know, coming from somebody who wants a career in music, how is it like being a musician?
Couldn't tell you because I'm not a musician. Okay, not a musician. I'm a DJ, and they say we're musicians. I beg to differ, but I know the life of a DJ and anybody that's serious about any craft that they want to partake in. A lot of sacrifice. A lot of doors gonna get slammed in your face. A lot of you must be crazy. Okay, a lot of that ain't gonna work. Okay, especially if you're trying to do something outside the box.
Right.
Okay, especially if you're trying to be outside the box. Now, if you're just doing something, you want to be a good classical musician and read the sheet music and do what they tell you to do the way they want it done, no problem. Still gonna be some sacrifice because you got to spend a lot of time practicing. You're gonna miss a lot of family events. You're gonna miss a lot of social events. But in the long run, you'll find that it's worth it. And that's the part that most people don't want to put the work in to and the sacrifice to become good at what they do.
Yeah, wonderful. Next question, Jesse Beltran would like to know, what was one of your first pieces of equipment that you bought for your studio, and which piece of your equipment do you like the most?
The first piece of equipment I ever bought for my studio, I actually was a turntable. I bought some belt drive Sanyo turntables. Actually, my dad loaned me the money. He loaned me the money back in 76, 77 to buy these turntables. I only had one turntable. There was I used a buddy of mine turntable, but I was getting so booked. My dad let me borrow his Visa card long enough to go down to what was that crazy guy that had the
Crazy Gideon?
Crazy Gideons.
Gideons. Down in the art district.
Right.
Yeah, I remember those
went down to Crazy Gideons. Then I had to go see Fred Rated and bought some cartridges. Oh, it was crazy. And I spent about $137. And that that investment my dad made in me helped build my studio. Later I went to Radio Shack and Lafayette and bought a mixer. And no one piece of equipment do I really use. I guess the piece of equipment I use more right now in my studio than anything else is my Mac laptop, because I'm on this thing between doing Zoom calls, editing, and just communication. I'm on this, on this, and I was never a Mac person. I'm an Android person, but I got turned on to the Mac, and I've been kind of stuck on it ever since.
Okay. Okay. One question about the Sanyo turntables. Were those comparable to the Technique 1200s back then?
Oh, no way. No way. No way. In fact, these things, every time you move the needle, move the arm, the record started spinning. And as a DJ, even back then,
you don't want that, yeah.
Right. Even back then, I wasn't trying to scratch and mix, but I did want the record to sit there until I tell it to play. So I had to, and here's something that that was kind of funny, because I realized I learned this part of what I did in the 8th grade in junior high school. I had to make some switch boxes. Okay. I had to go to Radio Shack, buy some parts, buy a parts box, drill a couple of holes in it, put a couple of toggle switches on there, run some wire to it, plug the turntables into the switch box, and the toggle switch would break the circuit, so I could actually put the needle on the record without the record playing. And those turntables, they had what they call wow and flutter, which means they would speed up and slow down. And so the first, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds, you it kicks up the speed. So the new turntables don't have that wow and flutter. When you push the button, it's automatically at 33 1/3. So no, by no means. $59 don't get you much technology.
So I mean, basically what you're telling me is you essentially like built your own DJ system in that respect. Like,
again, this is where I see how schools have changed tremendously. Most of what I learned in order to build my first DJ stand, I learned in junior high school. At junior high school, by the time I left junior high school, we were doing electronics, and one of my favorite things was welding. Okay, literally welding with torches. Okay, I don't know if they still teach that kind of those trades in school because of the various OSHA issues or whatever the case may be. But I lived a dangerous childhood. We did all kinds of. We built go-karts in metal shop and wood shop. We built stereos. I'll never forget in one of my classes, we built what they called was a color bar, and lights would flash to the music. And I went home and I tried to make my own color bar by plugging my Christmas lights to my speakers. And my mama didn't work out that well. Blew out the speakers, blew out the lights, and my daddy blew me out too. So it was it was not a good day, but I tried.
So let me ask, because obviously back then there was no internet. No one was like showing, there was no like
no YouTube. No.
Yes. So like you mentioned the welding, like, but how else does a kid from Compton like have the wherewithal to kind of, I mean, basically you were an engineer as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
You were employing engineering skills to build, what would later become, an infamous, sound, as far as that goes.
Man, it was, the times were so much different back then. And I tell my son, I have a son that's 18. He just got his driver's permit today. When I was coming up, I was literally driving at 14.
Right.
I wasn't driving on the streets, but I was able to control a vehicle. My dad had a little hustle he did, and we'd always do it in this big empty field. And while he'd be doing what he was doing, I'm driving his 4-speed truck around this field. And by the time I was 15 years old, I was driving on the streets illegally. And the first thing I did on my 16th birthday was drove my car that I bought to the DMV, got my license, and I never stopped moving since.
I love
different mindset. It's a different motivation. Right. Okay.
Right.
Independence was our thing back in the day. We wanted to be independent as fast as we possibly could.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that. That goes into a good question from another audience member, Wesley Simmons. He wants to know, is the entertainment business different from when you started to now?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And what I'm about to say is gonna upset some students, but I got to keep it real, because if I don't keep it real, Judy ain't gonna book me no more.
That's why you're here, Alonzo.
In what people call, well, in my opinion, strictly my opinion,
yeah,
it had nothing to do with Carson, Zoom, or anybody else. Shock value has been replaced with talent.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Say more.
People play for algorithms as opposed to playing for a program director. They play for likes and views. So shock value, over the top, the more over the top you are, the more people talk about you, the more they go to your YouTube, your Instagram, the more you're trending. So you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to have any real talent. It's not how beautiful the song is, the arrangement, the hook. It's about, oh my God, you see what he did in this video? See how he slid down the pole in this video. You see what they did together on stage at the Grammy Awards. Did you see? Nobody said, have you heard this new song? No, it's not that way anymore. Okay. Back in the day, all you had was trained musicians who had trained writers, producers who knew how to play, read, and write music, and these guys were very competitive. Okay, even back in the days of going to school, most of my buddies, if you were in the music class, by the time you left 9th grade, you were a pretty good musician if you practiced. Right. Okay, they took music out of the schools, but music has become such a big part of our culture, but they don't teach it in schools like they used to. I mean, most schools. Okay, so kids nowadays, a lot of the youngsters have to go to the computer, and the computer will make music for you. Computer will make all the music you want, but it won't put the swag in the music. It won't put the soul in the music. You can't digitize soul. You can't digitize swag. And that's the difference in the music business of today versus when I came up. You know, you can get the horn sound, but you can't get the horn feel. Okay? You can get the string sound, but you can't get the string feel. And it makes a big difference overall. Yeah. And then again, because a lot of people are more interested in doing stunts, doing stunts on videos as opposed to actually making records. A lot of these guys, I call them characters that make music to sell products. They're more interested in selling products than they are selling music. Music is what they do to get attention to sell the products.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like the sound versus the feel. I think that's good. That's good advice right there to think about, you know, in that respect. Maybe, so what are some tips that you think would be helpful for students who are looking to start their own business and or get into the entertainment industry?
Find a lane that you like. Okay. Somebody told me something a long time ago, and that was always been one of my centering points whenever I got lost my way. Do what you love for a living, and you'll never work hard a day in your life. I'm having a ball doing what I'm doing right now. Okay. When I get through here at 3 o'clock, I have another class I teach. I love teaching podcasting. After that, I'll do another podcast from 6 to 7. And I've been a DJ since I was 19 years old. I love playing records. Everything I've ever acquired in life came from playing records. And you know, when you can do what you love for a living, again, you never work hard a day in your life.
Great. And I just want to make a little announcement. If you have questions for Lonzo, please put them in the chat. We've got about 92 folks out in the Zoom here today, and we're so happy to have you to come and listen to the great mind of Lonzo Williams, Godfather West Coast hip hop, here and join us today. But I also want to give a shout out, Judy. Miss Judy Fox let us know that Lonzo and the business entrepreneurship sector will be hosting a 7-week how to launch a podcast training, which is free and led by Lonzo. So connect with Judy on her LinkedIn. She put the link in the chat. So make sure to take advantage of that if you are interested in learning about podcasting from the legend Lonzo. Here on the Zoom today. We are so happy to have him. Go ahead. Yeah.
And I have to say something.
Please.
Just Monday. Now I've been doing my podcast for about. Let me say this right here.
Yeah.
I read this yesterday on the wall. I was getting a pizza for my crew, and I read this on the wall yesterday when I was sitting in the pizzeria waiting on the pizza to come through, and it said a lot of people miss opportunity because it's wearing overalls and it's disguised as work.
Interesting.
Okay. A lot of people miss opportunity because it's wearing coveralls and it looks like work. Okay. I've been doing my podcast now. I left my club in 2019. I've been doing I started the podcast maybe a little bit before that, but I really got into it past 2 years. Yeah. Don't make no money. Don't make no real money on it. My YouTube channel makes a few bucks. My podcast makes a few bucks, but because I've been consistent, I don't have a boss. I don't have a boss standing over me telling me, "Hey, Lonzo, go do the podcast." If I have something to do, I'll stop what I'm doing to do my 1-hour podcast. Well, just on Monday, I was offered a contract to take my podcast to a paying media. Okay. And that is the goal for most podcasters, right? To develop enough content where somebody says, you know what, I like what you got. Come over here and let's make this happen. Yeah. So, if you are serious, one thing about podcasting I've learned is that once you become a podcaster, you become an expert on a particular subject, and people respect you for whatever that subject may be. If you can sit there and talk to somebody about diamonds or with cars for an hour a week, they will respect you as being a car person or a jeweler. And as they need a car person or a jeweler, they will call you. And podcasting is like having your own infomercial. Okay. And it allows a person to tell a story. If you have a story to tell, I tell my students, podcasting is like rappers, where every rapper has a story. Well, podcasting is for people who can't rap with a story. A person with a story that can't rap. If you have a story you want to share with people, and that story is over a period of time, podcasting is a great outlet for that, and that's what I teach.
Right.
It takes consistency. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I want to go back to what you said earlier when you started the podcast. So you had the clubs, and then you closed them, and then you started the podcasting. Tell me the importance of making that kind of pivot, because I'm assuming you've made various pivots throughout your career, just given the length and the history of what we know. And now that we have just gone through the year of 2020, how does that was a pivot for all of us. That's why we're all here on Zoom, doing this, instead of in person, in that respect. So tell me, about the skills required in order to make that sort of pivot from both maybe a business and entertainment mindset in that respect.
Well, because I'm a professional speaker, first thing I did is I joined Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for at least about 15 years. I've entered contests, I've won contests, I've lost contests. I've lost contests I thought I should have won. I've won contests I thought I should have lost. So it takes the fear factor out of standing in front of these screens and talking to people, and it helps you develop a story, be able to tell a story, and to be able to convince people. And it's various things I specialized in Toastmasters, whether it be persuasion, whether it be sales, whether it be comedy, whatever the case. I studied all of it. So I implement that into my presentation. I implement that into my podcast. My biggest problem is I get passionate and I start talking fast. That's my biggest problem when I'm on my podcast. Even when I'm doing these Zooms, I have to slow myself down, and even in Toastmasters helps me with that. So that's probably one of the first things I did. And because I was a Toastmaster and I enjoyed doing that, podcasting worked. It's great for me. And next thing I did was open up my Rolodex to all my old school friends and invited them on my show. And because COVID hit in 2020, nobody was going anywhere. And I bought me some Zoom stock because I realized Zoom was going to be very popular in the next few weeks. And I started using people, interviewing people through Zoom and some other platforms. And COVID, Zoom and podcasting helped me get through COVID. Because I'm a runner. I'm usually doing things all the time. And when I'm at home, I usually find something to do. Well, I've been home now, like everybody else, for over a year. Everything I wanted to do is pretty much done. The closet is cleaned out, okay? The yard is clean. The clothes that I still can wear is still in the closet. A lot of clothes I can't wear no more. I had to give up a lot of stuff over the years because them COVID pounds kicked in. So, but podcasting helped me get through that. And it brought people in, it kept me connected to friends, but it also let people in interesting places see what I had to offer. And that just made it even much better.
Great, great. We got a couple more questions here from the audience. Samantha wants to know, do you have any artists that you like recently, or do you prefer music from back then?
I'm really, really trying my best to find an artist I can get. I'm really trying. When it comes to right now, it's not even hip hop artists I can say offhand that I really like. I like Bruno Mars. We were talking about Bruno Mars last night. Okay. Modern day artists, I like Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars, did a little bit of Prince, did a little bit of Morris Day, brought back the live horns, the live band, but he still has a hip hop flavor. I like Lizzo. Okay. I love Lizzo. I think she's great. I like this young lady, H-E-R. I like her. Okay. It sounds crazy. I like her. Who was her? H-E-R. There's a few people I like. When it comes to the modern day rappers, I can't find anyone that I can really sink my teeth into. I'm working with a couple of artists right now to help them develop themselves, where they be more appealing. And I think that's something, that's where the algorithms have kind of messed up the average artist. Most artists, they're playing for the algorithms. Excuse me. Playing for the algorithms. And the algorithms say, do this, say this, keep the algorithm, keep them in a box, okay? And I got a couple of artists I'm working with that are stepped out the box, and I want to help them crush the box. So hopefully you'll see them in the near future. When you ask me that question again, I'll be able to give you a name of an artist that I'm working with.
Great. Somebody else, Jesse wants to know, what are your top albums from the 90s, from the present?
All Eyes on Me for one, Death Certificate, Tupac is one of my favorite old school artists. Got to say it. Okay. Yeah. Anything Tupac did. Love N.W.A. Nas, Cube. One album I still rock in my car today, and my kids look at me like I'm crazy, or even people ride with me like, why are you listening to him? I love Snoop's first album, Doggy Style. I love that album. Style.
Undisputed classic.
I love it. I still bump it right to this day in my car. And you know, it's funny to see an old man bumping Snoop Dogg, but you got to forget I wasn't an old man when it came out, so it's a little bit. What you know about Snoop Dogg? Excuse me. So you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I have such a vast array of music. I love digital. I love Digital Underground. I love Arrested Development. I mean, as a DJ, I play it all, and my records that go to my favorites list are records that I can incorporate in my playlist when I'm playing in clubs. If I can utilize an artist record in my club, I have two different flavors. I have the flavors I can program to my club, to my playlist, and I have the ones I listen to in my car. Everybody's not the same. Some of them fit both sides, but most of the times you're either in the car or in the playlist, one to two.
Yeah, that's
good
DJ advice right there.
Right, and my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists out of Compton is DJ Quick.
Okay, yeah,
he's never made a bad album to me, so that's true. Again, those are my favorites.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we got some more questions coming in. Christopher Jacobo wants to know if you like Lana Del Rey. Are you familiar with Lana Del Rey?
Not familiar with her.
Okay, so singer-songwriter.
I'll look her up.
Yeah, check her out. Okay. Jesus Garcia wants to know if you ever met Michael Jackson.
No, I can't say I ever met Michael Jackson. Can't say that. I wish I could, but I can't.
Okay. Nashad Scott, I hope I'm saying that right, wants to know, would you ever work with one of us if we asked?
If you sent me something with some potential, and here is the key word, potential. Let me see what you're doing before you get to me, okay? I have a nonprofit I founded called the Lyrical Revolution, okay? The Lyrical Revolution, I don't promote homicide, suicide, genocide, or any of the sides, period. If you're talking about killing somebody, killing yourself, or anything of that nature, I don't promote it, okay? So that's the first thing, knowing Lonzo, okay? So if you have something that's uplifting, in fact, part of the deal that I'm working on right now, I plan to launch a feel-good music channel, okay, a positive music channel. I haven't came up with the term yet, but that's one of the things that my nonprofit we plan to launch through the Lyrical Revolution on this new platform that we're about to get involved in, and it will be I don't want to say conscious rap, but just something other than the norm. It's not going to be. Like I said, we're not promoting homicide, suicide, or genocide. Not going to do it.
Okay. Okay. How would you recommend that students get a hold of you if they are interested in sending you some of their work?
Here is my music, Lonzo at gmail.com. Here is my music, Lonzo at gmail.com.
Okay, great. I'll make sure Eva puts that in the chat too, just in case students want to go ahead and hit you up about that. A few more questions. Skylar Thornton wants to know, I'm a big fan of Ice Cube. What was it like to work with him?
You know, when I worked with Ice Cube, he was like 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
And all kids evolve. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And Ice Cube left here going to college. He was going to Arizona State to be a drafter. Okay. When I was with Ice Cube, he had just had his issues over at Washington High School. Mom transferred him to Taft High School. He graduated from Taft. He came by a few times. Next time I saw him, he was going to Arizona State. And the time I had with Ice Cube, he was a great kid. He was a great, again, you got to remember now, I'm 12 years older than Ice Cube. So when he's at my house at 15, I'm 27, okay? So we're not hanging out, okay? We're not going together, chasing girls together. He's a kid at my house, and he was always respectful, and I give him that. And last time I saw him, and when it comes to me, he's still respectful as all outdoors, okay? I knew his mom. His mom became friends, And when she sees me, she's but she and I were cooler than he and I because we're closer in age.
Mm-hmm.
So I got more to talk to your mom about than I do to you. But because she realized I was cool, she didn't mind her son coming by my house. That meant a lot to me. And the fact that he was able to prosper the way he has, it just showed that she made the right decision.
Yeah, definitely. We only got a few minutes left before we're at time, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time here, as well as Mr. Williams, as he's been so generous for speaking with us today. But I want to just highlight something really quickly. I know that students are interested in sending you some of their music, but I also want to highlight the fact that you do hire interns on occasion. Is that correct? And if you could tell us some more about that, maybe if there's some students in the audience who are maybe interested in kind of getting involved on that side of the music industry business part, as far as that goes, if we could talk about that a little bit.
I'm currently working with a program called Youth at Work.
Okay.
Something that Judy turned me on to. And they have a program where they pay 8 youngsters between the ages of 18 and 24 $15 an hour as a paid internship to come work with people like myself or whatever field you want to be a part of. I just got my email today. My social media manager and my personal assistant just was approved. They just completed their training program. I just sent over another young lady who was going to come to work for me as a grant researcher. So this is a great program. It helps people like myself get, quote unquote, lack of a better word, free labor, but you get paid. You get the experience, okay? You'll find that you'll get something that you can put on your resume, because if you hang out with me, you're gonna learn a whole bunch of stuff, because I do a whole lot of stuff, okay? I do a whole lot. So, and most entrepreneurs, they may say, their business card may say one thing, but their life is gonna say something totally different, okay? If you say you're an insurance man, you're probably gonna be a copy repair man, you're gonna be a waterman, you might be a part-time plumber, you might be a part-time receptionist, okay? So these things all go into various job skills.
Yeah.
Especially being an entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur, that means you can't call somebody in maintenance to come fix what has to be fixed. You have to do it yourself. So you learn things pretty fast.
Yeah, just like you built that DJ system.
It's like I built that DJ system.
Yeah. Okay, well, we are at time. So we dropped the LA Youth at Work link in the chat. So please check that out if you're looking to work with folks like Lonzo. I want to just be respectful, because I know everybody's in class. We had a few questions that we didn't get to, unfortunately, but for general inquiries, what's the best way for students to get a hold of you, Lonzo?
Through my regular email address, lonzoinfo@gmail.com.
Okay. And
also, yeah, I got 83 people right now on this platform.
Yeah.
If I need all y'all to do me a favor when you get off this line, is go to your phones and subscribe to my YouTube channel, N.W.A Stories with Lonzo. I'm almost at 10,000, at 8,000. No, it's almost 9,000. I'm trying to get to 10,000. Okay.
All right.
If you guys come on board and show me some love, I could be right at the door of 10,000, and it won't take me long to get to my 10,000. I'll be able to work out of the Google office in Playa del Rey. So 10,000 people, help me out. I appreciate it. Go to YouTube, N.W.A Stories with Lonzo. Push subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. And also check out my Instagram, Real Lonzo N.W.A. Real Lonzo N.W.A on Gmail. Okay.
Any social media we can follow you on? Instagram,
that's the one.
Facebook. Okay.
Instagram is Real Lonzo N.W.A. Facebook is Lonzo Williams, and YouTube is N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo.
Okay. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So happy to hear it. All right. All right, everybody. I want to thank you. Thank everyone for showing up today, for coming and listening to Lonzo's stories. I also want to give a special shout out to our interpreters here, Sherry and Alexis, who are doing a wonderful job with the ASL interpretation. You guys are working hard over there. Nothing but respect for what you guys do. You provide a wonderful service. So,
Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
This is the first time I've been interpreted, man. This is really
same,
cool,
same.
man.
I feel
I've never
I
been
feel
interpreted before.
right
I was like, could you do me a favor, Alexis, and show me what Alonzo looks like in sign language? Thank you.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a good. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks again, everybody. We truly appreciate. This was a great turnout. I think we had close to 100 people on the Zoom today at one point, which is huge for us. So we truly appreciate it. Judy, did you want to say anything before we sign off?
Just to let everybody know that we will be posting this recording at ProvenReady.org. So for more information about career pathways and different types of jobs that are available, and to listen to other guest speaker series, such as what you've heard today with Alonzo Williams, please visit that website. Thank you so much, Alonzo. Gab, you did fantastic. And these interpreters are fantastic.
They're rock stars.
So,
yeah.
Yes, they are.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great work, everybody. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, folks. Thank you.